My name's Lee Eggleston. I'm the project director here at TDC. Where TDC is situated is on Rukinga Ranch, which is about 70,000 acres of ranch land. Adjoining here is Taita Ranch. That's getting on towards 95,000 acres. These two ranches, leased by Savannah Camps and Lodges, are just two of between 14 and 16 ranches that lie in between Tsavo East and Tsavo West. The area between the two areas of Tsavo was first thought to be a corridor through which the elephants used to migrate. It's subsequently been found actually that this is a dispersal area more than a corridor for the elephants. So we've actually got quite a large resident population of elephants in the area. This environment was crown hunting land, then it changed to being cattle ranching land. Cattle ranching has now all but folded in the area due to a number of factors. We need to generate a plan for the future here. What TDC is doing in this area, what Savannah Camps and Lodges and the Managing Director Steve Turner's vision is that this will be an experiment to see a new direction for sustainable development. These two ranches that we're leasing border an area of what we call community trust land. Although the local people aren't given title deeds to that land, people are reluctant to invest heavily in anything on the trust land. The trust land is mainly centred around the main feature in the area, which is Mount Cassigao, and the main reason for any community being over there is because 5 streams run down the side of the mountain, and it's those 5 streams that at the base have caused villagers to gradually grow up. On that community trust land we've got about 12,000 people, and of course for those 12,000 people there are dispensaries, clinics, schools, administrative buildings. At TDC and Gala Camp we've got different levels of participation. We've got Earthwatch volunteers who are the main occupants of our other camp. At TDC, volunteers can be split into different groups. Some who come work with Dr. Hamisi Mutinda, who's stationed here to work on elephant monitoring.
Someone wasn't expecting that.
That's properly heavy.
Some of our volunteers come with their own projects to do. They come, they use our facilities, laboratory, drivers, vehicles, so they get on with their own work and feed back to us the data that they've collected. Then we've got people who come here and volunteer to do anything we can set them on with, which could be 1,001 different things, from helping us with display work in our education centre. They might be cleaning up bones that we've found so we can put them on display so people can just see the structure of the different animals. They might be going out bug collecting. There's thousands of different things people can do if they just arrive here and just say, look, I'm at your disposal. We've also got a programme that's at the moment linked in with an organisation called Africa Venture, and they're dealing with the gap year student market in the UK. There are accommodations set up in the villages in a very traditional style. We refer to them as bandas. After the initial training here at TDC, we place 4 or 5 students in each of the bandas over at Cassigao. As part of the micro-enterprise work we're involved in, the local community will benefit from the revenue that's generated by leasing these bandas out to these students. And while those students are over in the community, they get involved in community work, they help in the schools in education, and they also provide us with personnel for doing more conservation work. They have a very rich and diverse 3-month stay. Having those AV students is quite a big benefit to the community. One of our aims is to make sure that the local community over at Cassigao and in that community trust land benefit and participate in the conservation efforts that we're involved in. A part of that plan is for TDC, along with a neighbouring organisation, Wildlife Works, is to ensure that this place is made secure for the future. We've got a biodiversity hotspot in this area. There's a huge richness of plants and wildlife. The whole environment is under threat, like a lot of areas in Kenya. There's some monitoring of TDC's impact within the area. We've got Earthwatch volunteers doing research at the moment into the lions in the area. Obviously the spin-off for us is that data is generated about what we've got in the ranches. If we see animal numbers going up and down, it's of interest to us. Prior to that there was elephant monitoring going on through Earthwatch, and that was with Dr. Barbara McKnight. So we've also got data regarding between 300 and 400 elephants in the two ranches and 1,000 in the greater area.
Because elephants are critical to the management of this area, I had to have a particular program for monitoring elephants. My work basically involves research, finding answers to questions relating to biological diversity of this area, and use the answers to design conservation programs that will ensure the availability of this habitat in the next 10, 20, 50 years from now. Elephants are movers of this habitat. Apart from human beings, elephants are the next group of mammals that are likely to change or affect this habitat. With elephants monitoring them, understanding and knowing cow-calf groups, we're not only getting data for ourselves, because poaching was a big problem to elephants in this area, and potentially still a very big problem because most of Tsavo is still a very big wilderness. By being there, going out to collect this data, we are actually creating a deterrent for possible poachers. Our project is directed at generating revenues from volunteers paying to come and do work with us. Those revenues are going to be used to create a wildlife monitoring unit or anti-poaching unit.
And we've been going around monitoring water holes and also checking where the elephants have been. This morning we went out looking for lions. Unfortunately we weren't very lucky, but that's the way it is in the bush.
We've seen I don't know how many species of animals, a lot of elephants. Sometimes had to wait quite a while, but when they did show up it's been really exciting, especially when they come up close to the vehicle and you feel they might push it over, but they always stop in the end. So even though I've been on holiday, I've done something quite useful and had a great time as well.
Elephants destroying all the plants. Sunday night, my shamba, they entered there and destroyed a lot of crops.
Problem was elephants. They will come at night and he will sometimes get into the boma, the cattle shed, and just start knocking cows. They've been having a lot of conflict with lions. The place they have been, they only lost one goat to the lions. But here, the new place, we're hoping the lions will not know where they are and they will not manage to kill one or so. Because once they catch one, that will be a habit. So they're saying, it's hard to know what to do with the elephants, what to do with the lions, to sort out this problem, because they really don't know what they can do.
The pioneer of using chilies as a defense against elephants is an American researcher called Dr. Lockie Osborne. He plants chilies, the same as we're doing, along boundaries between elephants and the human population. You plant about 5 rows of chili bushes and elephants will not go through them. They don't like the smell of the chili and they don't like the sensation of the hot leaves on their sensitive trunk. The Atini and Marasi communities that have been in the area for 30 or 40 years have always had a conflict problem with elephants. The elephants are passing through from the national park into Rukinga Wildlife Sanctuary, and then they move through, especially during harvest time, into the farms, where they go into the fields and eat whatever is growing at that time of the year. The local people will only put up with it up to a point. We found elephants with either snares around their legs or with wounds which have probably come from spears or from arrows. You can understand the local people retaliating like this when the fruits of your labour suddenly go down in one night when a herd of elephant move through your farm. Wildlife Works has propagated 11,000 chili seedlings. These seedlings have been given free of charge by Wildlife Works The villagers will then plant the seedlings in lines to act as a barrier between their maize and the elephant population of Rukinga Wildlife Sanctuary.
One thing we do need to do is to offer some form of income generation to the community. It's very difficult for the local community to grow enough food to support their own families. It's very easy for them to get drawn into activities that are detrimental to the environment. There's a lot of charcoal burning going on. We estimate about 55,000 trees a year are disappearing.
The people don't have money and they resort to charcoal burning as a form of getting income. They cut charcoal because of hunger. They cut charcoal because they want to buy clothes for their children. They cut charcoal because they want to pay fees for their children in school. That means they don't have any alternative income.
There's poaching going on. We need to provide alternative forms of protein and employment in the area, and we're doing that through micro-enterprise. At the moment we're looking at beekeeping. Beekeeping is a traditional activity in the area, but we're looking at introducing more efficient hives, and we've also been looking at running courses in the area for beekeeping.
But with this kind of system it's better off because you know how much this side has got enough to keep this hive going for another season. And I've given the community some hives. Now they are taking care of them, see whether they can depend on beehive production.
There's markets for several products that can be obtained from beekeeping. Honey, wax, propolis, royal jelly, bee venom. There's markets for several products that can be obtained from beekeeping. Also, we're trying to introduce a line of elephant dung paper products. They might include cards, paper, envelopes.
So we're asking donors, we're asking projects like this, people to buy. Instead of going for other things, they can buy this one and they will be helping. They will be assisting community. They will be assisting these elephants, the thirsty elephants around this Tsavo ecosystem.
We're also looking at fish farming in the area. Hopefully, if that's a success, people will move away from poaching the wild animals into this easier activity of rearing fish.
So we're involving the school kids that are as part of their lesson in agriculture. Some of them have never seen fish before. From outside the class, they can come and learn a few things here, how to rear fish, because it's part of their curriculum.
Around Kassigao itself, we've got 5 primary schools, 1 at each village, and Moy High School, which is the only secondary school in the area. Through donor funding, through the generosity of visitors, we are trying to raise the standards at both the secondary school and at the primary schools. One of the main activities is to rebuild classrooms that have become dilapidated. A lot of the classrooms haven't got any floors, they've got no doors, windows. You hear the next lesson going on, and you can't hear your own teacher. Right now you can hear what it's like when it's raining on Mabati and it's just a light shower. When it really rains, you just stop teaching. You just can't hear yourself think. With having no doors and windows, animals can get into the classrooms. Any displays that teachers put up on the walls, the goats will come in and they will just eat those displays. And so it's really important that doors are provided, shuttered windows, proper floor, better lighting. All of those classrooms that exist at the moment are just the absolute bare minimum. We're hopefully actively involved in making those improvements to the buildings. One of our other important roles is to try and get funding for at least the best 2 primary school children at each of the 5 primary schools. We're looking at trying to raise $350 per year per pupil. And the great thing is it changes a child's life to have the opportunity of a secondary education.
It is a full boarding school. Most of our students come from the locality. We lack basic facilities like a library. These have contributed towards poor performance in the national examination. However, with the assistance that we've been getting from organizations like Taita Discovery Center has really improved the learning at our school. We were positioned 1 in the district as the best improved secondary school. Out of 37, we were the most improved secondary school.
The pupils will be at Moy High School for 4 years.
The students from Miami University came to our area, and we were asked that if one has anything like traditional dance or a poem can perform so that to entertain the students. So due to that process, I recited a poem. Out of the darkness you crept in and swept our continent from north to south and from east to west. Thousands and thousands you have killed, spoiled the beauty of our continent. Yet you are not satisfied. Please, please, take care to the youth, stop bad habits. Husbands and wives, be faithful to each other. This monster has no cure. There is no cure for AIDS. AIDS, do you have mercy? AIDS, oh AIDS. After 1 week, I was called by Madam Marcelina and told me that there was a certain woman who came and asked me that I go back to school so that she can pay for my school fees.
So at primary school, it's refurbishing the buildings, upgrading the standard of teaching and providing more resources for the teachers. And at secondary school, it's ensuring that a lot of the pupils are sponsored and providing some more up-to-date equipment in the school. We see TDC really as being at the sort of cutting edge of this whole field, bringing people into an area where they don't just spend the day in their tour vehicle. They are actively involved. They'll spend time in the laboratory, they'll spend time interacting with members of the community. It will all be done in a sustainable way, instead of just a tour operator benefiting from bringing people out to Kenya. It's much wider than that. The whole country, the animals, the community, everybody benefits from it. That's really important, and hopefully if this whole venture is a success, then other people will want to come along and want to see what's happening here. Okay, you're going to make mistakes along the way. Hopefully we'll be able to point out some of the pitfalls, and so that as things are duplicated, there will always be an improvement on what we've got here. The word will get out that this is the way forward for conservation, the way forward for protecting the environment. Something very stimulating to realise that you're not the same as everything else that's going on. It's great to be at that sort of forefront of where that's all heading.